Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again. Have you ever had one of those situations where you plan to do something and then at the last minute, completely without warning, your plans change and you decide to do something else at the very last minute instead? Well, that's exactly what's happened to me today. I decided I was going to come out and try and limit myself just to one lens, just to see how well I adapted to the challenge of using just one lens with one focal length. But instead, once I got out of the house and realised what was going on, I thought I'm going to do something slightly different. The sunlight is absolutely beautiful. It's blue skies, sunny all day by the looks of things, one or two clouds in the sky as you can see here, but yeah, it's going to be sunny all day by the looks, a complete contrast to the misty foggy weather that we've had all week. So I decided I was going to try and make the most of that sunshine. We are in December now and the sunlight on the trees is just amazing, creating some great images. So I've been walking around and tried to capture a few images to see how well they work out on camera, and they're looking pretty good. I hope you've enjoyed the images I've showed you up to now. I'm going to see if I can find a couple more and then I'll let you know what I'm doing with them. It's early December and it's a bit chilly, I've got to tell you that much. So I'm probably going to need to break out my woolly hat and big coats in a few days. I'm just looking because as I'm walking along I'm noticing that with the sunlight being very low on the horizon, it's creating these beautiful colours and light patterns on the side of trees and on the path as I'm walking along, and I'm just kind of looking around to see if I can find that one perfect shot just as it catches in just exactly the right place. It's proving a little bit difficult at the moment because I'm just kind of looking around everywhere trying to see where the light's falling, and also trying to avoid people walking their dogs because there's quite a lot of them out on a Saturday morning doing exactly the same as I'm doing, to be fair. But just trying to find that one spot where the light is in the perfect position as I look at the image, and then I'll take that composition. This is a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. I've got this silver birch tree here which is completely lit up by the sunlight just there, and then either side of this path I've got some darker trees which kind of frame up the image quite nicely. So I'm going to try and set this one up as a portrait orientation, possibly with a 50mm lens, possibly even with a 70 to 300mm lens, depending on where I need to stand to capture the shot. And I like the path running through the centre of it as well. That kind of leads you towards that tree. So I'm thinking possibly 50mm portrait orientation, capture the trees either side of this single silver birch tree in the middle with the path running through the middle of it. Hope you like this image as well. There was a huge amount of dynamic range through that space, obviously because of this low sunlight, and because of that I decided I had to bracket the exposures, but I also noticed once I'd taken the shot with the 50mm lens that actually I wasn't really that keen on the composition. But I put the 17 to 40mm lens on and zoomed to about 35mm, and actually found that when I switched that to a landscape orientation as well, I much preferred that composition because of some of the colours of the trees and the leaves that were around the edges of the scene. So when I get them back on the computer I can make a decision then as to which I prefer. But either way, I think I'm probably going to show you both of the images, and then you can let me know in the comments exactly which one of those you prefer yourselves. But in the meantime, I'm quite close now to a woodland that I stood in last week and mentioned that it might be quite good with a little bit of mist and fog. Obviously there's no mist and fog at the moment, but I quite like the sunlight, the way it's falling through the trees, and I think there might be some interesting images in that woodland as the sunlight falls through the trees there. So that's where I'm heading now, and I'll see you there. This is another one of those shots where I'm going to have to hide the camera behind a tree, in the shadow of a tree, and try and capture the light that's here on the woodland floor, because it's this light coming through the trees that's creating such beautiful colours and light patterns on the floor itself and through the trees. I'm just trying to work out exactly where the composition is, but like I say, I know I'm going to have to hide the camera behind a tree to keep it in shadow so that the camera doesn't pick up too many of the light rays from the sun, and I don't want to end up with too much glare throughout the image because that'll ruin the rest of the image. But I think there's a composition just here anyway, so I'm going to set up and take this one. That shot was a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be, partly because of the dynamic range that's running through this woodland, but also we've got a few clouds in the sky now, and every now and then I was finding that the sun was being hidden by a cloud, and I just had to try and time the shot perfectly to capture 3 separate exposures so that I could capture all that dynamic range. But I had to do that in between when the cloud was hiding the sunshine, so that made it a little bit difficult, but I think I timed it perfectly and managed to get the shot that I wanted. Now there's one more last shot at the edge of this woodland that I noticed on the way in here, and it is just right at the edge of the woodland, and as you look into the woodland there are some leaves on a tree, and they kind of form a line just above the woodland floor across a load of other trees, and it's quite an interesting one because as the light falls on those, the sunlight falls on those, it really brightens up those leaves, and you've got the contrast of the tree trunks dotted in between the leaves as well. It makes quite an interesting shot. I think I'm going to go and capture that now, and then I'm going to call it a day, I think. So I appear to have found some silver and gold right here behind me. We've got these silver birch trees here, all these golden leaves on the floor obviously, but also this little shock of golden leaves just here in the trees, and it was that composition that I wanted to capture, the silver birch trees with the golden leaves kind of sitting there in the middle of them, and obviously some golden leaves on the bottom on the floor. So that's it, ladies and gents, that's the last image of the day. Hope you've enjoyed that image. Hope you enjoyed the vlog as well, and if you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and also please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.